All right, give it to us.
So it's Mad Dog's A list of the greatest pro sports dynasties from 5 to 1 this morning on First Take. The 70s Steelers, the 70s Canadians, the 60s Packers, the Yankees from 49 to 53, and Bill Russell's Celtics.
So basically all teams that nobody was alive for but him.
Oh, yeah.
Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports, presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Facebook felon germ. With me, as always, the prettier Corey Burt and young prodigy. Yeah, I mean, young Albert Einstein. All right, the Black Einstein. Dwayne Marcus from Go Talk with Marcus is here with us. What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
So Dwayne Marcus just gave us Chris Mad Dog Russo's dynasty list, and I mean, I don't believe black and white television was invented yet, or colored television wasn't invented yet for half of the teams that he listed. I'm pretty sure me and Dwayne Marcus's ancestors were outside picking cotton when half of these teams were playing, and yet 100%. Here we are.
100%.
Mad Dog Russo refused. He didn't have the 90s Cowboys on there. He didn't have Jordan's Bulls on there. You said
nope.
Unbelievable.
There's no Tom Brady Patriots.
There's no Patriots on there. Nope. None of it.
Tom Brady's Patriots are the last dynasty, correct? I know that the rules on dynasty changed. I know in football it's like you have to win a certain amount within and I guess in your championship window, right? You have to have like a winning record in your championship window. So Brady had 4 and 6 years, and then it's like that's a dynasty. You have 7 titles, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know I know a lot of people were asking if the Chiefs are a dynasty. They have 2 and 5 years. They're a really good team. I don't know if I would qualify that as a dynasty though.
2 and 5 years with 3 Super Bowl appearances, though. I think appearances matter if you're winning championships, right? Like you can't be a dynasty if you go and never win. That's fine. But I think that's for me. Here I am eating my words. The Chiefs, I think, can now start to be considered a dynasty team for me. Whereas before it was, hey, you won it once, but you made it twice. And other times you've come close. It is what it is. But I think 2 is what sets that for me, at least. And I mean, look, in a 4-year time period, absolutely. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're definitely on the trajectory. That's what sparked the conversation was, are the Chiefs a dynasty? And then Mad Dog gave us this garbage list when people still had separate bathrooms and all this other nonsense.
Unbelievable. Brandon DeWitt, what's up, man? Fly Eagles fly. Hey,
nope.
Not today. And today was a wasted opportunity for the Eagles. I hear that it's perfect weather up there in the Northeast for a parade, and yet it's being held in Kansas City. So, shout out to the Eagles. They played a really good game. Sorry for James Bradbury. Do you guys see any of the stuff between AJ Brown? Well, basically everybody versus Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, Juju has no room to talk. Yeah,
no, not at all.
AJ set him straight too, and I'm glad he came. He was in support of his teammate because look, not only and look, we can sit here and discuss all day. Was it holding? Was it not holding? Should they have called it? Should they have not called it? I was talking with Jordan before we even went live that everybody needs to stop this call blew this game bullshit, because not for nothing, they were in that position because they blew a 10-point lead coming out of the half. Their defense looked sloppy. Now, hats off to Patrick Mahomes and their offense because they were damn near perfect that second half. But, hey, don't let Giants reject, Kadarius Toney return the longest punt return ever as you scramble to try to tackle him. Don't let Hobble sticks Patrick Mahomes in the second half run, what was it, like 15, 20 yards to get in that position to begin with, too. You focus on that because, it did cost you the game, but so did all of the other non-existent plays or defensive stops that you were making, too. So to get back to it, though, Juju Smith, I mean, look, you have your ring now. That's fine. And to AJ Brown's point, your career was all but over until you were asked to come to the Chiefs and even just try to contribute, because his numbers this season are probably the worst it's ever had in the NFL. But how unprofessional do you have to be to call out a man for, a holding penalty that won you the Super Bowl? Like, I mean, dude, have some sort of professionalism. You want to rag on it, that's fine. Do it privately, but to come out publicly like that is insane. I mean, it's bold. I love the support from AJ Brown. A humble guy all around. So, I mean, come out and support your teammate, because, I mean, even Bradbury came and said, yeah, look, he held him. He was hoping to get away with it. So, I mean, for him to have that much class and basically own up to it, just to be kicked while he was down for no reason. There were shots fired and he didn't even do anything wrong.
Right.
It's just not something you need to do as a professional athlete in this situation.
For those who don't know, after the game, Juju Smith-Schuster on Valentine's Day did one of those, I guess, those meme things where you can make your own little virtual Valentine's Day card, and says, I'll hold you when it matters most, to what it blank from. And it was a picture of James Bradbury. And a lot of people, even his teammates, kind of were like, dog, that's kind of corny. Now, I am all about to the victor go the spoils. I will shoot Juju some bail here by saying, you get to talk shit when you win. I'm with you. However, that does not mean your criticism has to go unchecked. Oh, yeah. I am all for AJ Brown coming at him. First off, congratulations. Y'all deserved it. And then not even however or whatever, it was just period. This is lame, period. Now, I'm paraphrasing here, but you was on your way out the league before Mahomes resurrected your career, bitch boy. Good luck on your 1-year deal, TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you, but don't act like that you were like that or ever was. But congratulations again. Now, the congratulations again is the funniest part of the whole thing. Like, it's a shit sandwich, right? You start off by shitting on them, or you start off with compliments and then you shit on them and then you end with a good note. Like, that's just, that's like leadership business 101. It's hilarious. But let me ask you guys, I mean, if I'm Jim, I don't know if I'm feeling James Bradbury coming out and saying, hey guys, I held on that. Like, no, fuck that, man. No, man, I didn't hold. I don't know what y'all looking at. I didn't see it. Not in my version of the story. You got away with one. I guess cool. You have some morals, but I don't know if I'm admitting that I held him on that kind of situation.
Man, I give him credit. He played it as honest as he could, right? It's just not what the fans or anybody wants to hear. So like, he came out and said, look, I hold him. It happens. I mean, paraphrasing again, he's like, it happens 90% of the time. I was hoping they wouldn't call it. And in all honesty, they haven't called that type of hold all game. And it happens almost every freaking play. Yeah. So I'm all for being a man and owning up to it. However, what he could have said, Germ, to your point, was just like kind of a soft call. Like, was I holding? I guess you can make that judgment, but ball was uncatchable. It was a slight tug. There were worse offenses out there, but I have to give him credit, man. He took it on the chin. He did. He was just like, I did it. I got called for it. It is what it is.
Dwayne Marcus, out of the Chiefs and the Eagles, who is more likely to reach the Super Bowl again next year?
Oh, the Chiefs. I think it's coming dry. I think when you look, I think the Eagles are a great football team. I think the Eagles this season proved that the NFC is theirs to lose. Like, when you look across, like, there's a lot of questions for all the other teams in the NFC, right? Like, and you can go down the list. I am concerned for the Eagles, though, because they've lost both their coordinators in a matter of 48 hours. They're both gone to go be head coaches elsewhere. So we need to fill that void. Jason Kelsey could retire. Brandon Graham could retire. Lane Johnson could retire. Fletcher Cox could retire. Those are 4 guys that aren't just cornerstones as far as like on the field, but those are like 4 locker room cornerstone guys. Like, they're the vets of the team. They were there for the first run. Obviously they were there for this one. So like, the loss of Jason Kelsey, I think, is, I don't want to say it's certain, I think, but of all the 4, it's probably the most likely to happen as far as retiring is concerned, because we haven't really heard Johnson or Cox or Graham allude to it. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if the other 3 retire. And losing one, if not all four of those guys, would be detrimental as far as what the O-line looks like, as far as what the D-line looks like, as far as just having vocal leaders in the locker room. But they're a great football team. They'll be back. Like, they'll still be the heavyweight to the NFC until proven otherwise, because they're the only team in the NFC that has legitimately, like right now, a team that you look at and say right now, like, is going to do much of the same. Like, I don't expect much of a drop-off. Maybe it's a couple wins because now – people know what to expect from Jalen Hurts, and of course they've lost their coordinator, so maybe it'll take a couple weeks for them to kind of get back into the groove of things. But like the only other team in the NFC I think that really has a shot is the 49ers, and they still have to figure out what they're doing at the quarterback position. But like other than that, it's really it. And even if they have Trey Lance or Brock Purdy, it's still not going to be enough if we're being honest. Like it still won't be enough. So but the Chiefs should be back because they still have Pat Mahomes. They'll still have Travis Kelce. They still have Eric Bieniemy. They still have Andy Reid. They still have Steve Spagnuolo, who I think was the MVP of the Super Bowl, especially the second half, because he coached a perfect second half defensively. Like just, I know Peyton Manning kind of crapped on this myth about second half adjustments going into halftime, but like Steve Spagnuolo made some kind of adjustments because he completely outclassed the Eagles OC every step of the way in the second half. So yeah. The Chiefs will be back. It's hard to bet against the Chiefs at this point when they just keep doing it.
I'm shocked that the NFL is getting away or getting a pass for manipulating the grass, which amounts to a virtual manipulation, right? Like, or not virtual, experimental manipulation, because they've been testing or growing this sod for the last, I don't know, 2 years or whatever they said it was. And, it's the biggest game of the season. Mm-hmm. Like, why couldn't they do it week 3, Falcons, Bears? You know what I mean? Like, why unleash this in the Super Bowl? And the NFL is going to get a pass because it was a 38-35. It was an excellent game, great quarterback play, but players were slipping. Players were complaining about it. And we only have one person to blame here. And that's George Stoma, quote unquote, the sod father. Now, boys, just want to let you know, did some deep diving into this sod father. And I've uncovered some pretty dark stuff.
Uh-oh.
Sod father's been sodding he's 94 years old. He's been doing it for 30 plus years. Guess where he's from, guys?
Ooh,
Kansas City. Guess where he made his bones in the sod game, sodding most of his career. You guessed it. The Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs. He knows the type of grass they like. And I feel bad for him kind of because he has this like long, illustrious sodding career. He's like well known. He's on like 2 groundskeepers Hall of Fames, and I'm sure he's worked. I mean, I can't keep the grass straight in my house. I can't imagine doing it for professional teams for 30 plus years. But like, this is what he's going to be remembered for now. Like, you fucked up the Super Bowl, old man. Now get out of here. And so when I found out that he was in there, this goes into me and Bert's conversation last week, man, about how the NFL's rigged. Like, this is crazy. Why is the sod father fucking up the field for everybody? Why is the NFL, if the NBA finals if they waxed the floor before the NBA finals in game 7 and Jordan slipped and they were like, oh, sorry guys, we tried this new wood and this new wax and whatever. Like, why is the NFL getting a pass because they messed with the field when they've had issues with the field all season?
Man, I don't know. I don't know why they're getting a pass. I think because they just decided to try something new and it didn't work how they thought it was going to. Now, you're giving this sod father a pass because this is like his legacy. I don't care. Let him take the blame for it. I mean, dude, he's 94 years old. If he's in some sort of sod Hall of Fame, which I don't even know if that's a thing. It is, but dude, they spent $800,000 on this field. If I put $800,000 into my grass, you better believe it's the best grass out there. But you're going to tell me $800,000 in 18 months perfecting the state of the art system where the field is on the track and just shuffles on out of the stadium for sunlight every now and then? Like, no, it better be damn near perfect. And it better be tested too. I mean, shit, let a high school team play on it like 3 weeks before and see if it works, and then just regrow the grass. Like, work on it.
Yeah.
You had 18 months to get this right, and you didn't. Now, it could have been a number of different things. It could have been the dew in the air when they had rolled it out for sunlight.
Right.
It could have had something to do with all those Philly fans doing nothing but mouth breathing inside that arena. So the moisture soaked into the field as they all sat there with their mouths open. So I don't know. I'm willing to bet it's the latter too. So
who's behind the greasing the polls movement in Philly? Like, why do they keep doing that? It doesn't work.
Probably the police. It hasn't been working. Although I will give it to Philly fans for always finding a way to somehow destroy their city and publicly humiliate themselves at the same time. Like, look, congratulations, you climbed a grease pole, but guess what? Your vertebrae is broken because you fell through that bus stop and busted your ass.
Oh my God, that's the greatest. Oh, I love it. In my head, there's like a grease company mogul that has like super deep pockets with the people, and they're like, listen, we got to unload all this grease. And so they just have this thing where like, hey, buddy, I'll do you a solid. You know, I know the mayor. I just grease these poles so I can get my company. I just, why are you doing that? It's such a weird, it's like a Philly thing, right? Like, and now they have to keep doing it because they've been doing it the last couple of years. Now, one can make fun of the Philly metro area for doing stuff like this, but it means that their teams are, you know, I know people are making fun of the Phillies collapse in the World Series, but the Phillies probably shouldn't have been there. They were in the World Series. You know, you have the Philadelphia Union, you know, they collapsed in their championship, and then obviously the Eagles with in this situation. And so, you know, it's fun to make fun of Philly and their fans, and they are the worst. I mean, I know Cowboys fans get a bad rap. Philly fans, and I'm a Sixers fan, and I'll take my responsibility. But Eagles fans in particular, and Phillies fans, Philly is just the worst. Like this fake, like tough love shit they do, where they shit on their own players if nobody's not performing, shooting 100% from the field and never getting hurt and playing every game perfectly. And then like they'll say, "Oh, I'm booing you because I care about my team." No, you're booing because you're an asshole. Like this is the way it is. I don't. That's the one thing about being a Philly fan I'm embarrassed about. It's like, just like, stop being a dick.
Philly fans to the sports world is what Florida man is to the headline of the craziest shit you're gonna see. So, and it's the perfect analogy too, because for example, Philadelphia hates Santa Claus by throwing snowballs and batteries at them and knocking other head coaches out unconscious from throwing ice. Or how about their fans purposely making themselves throw up on opposing fans? It's the most, Dwayne Marcus, I see your face. It happened before. So they are the Florida man of the sports world.
That's
it wasn't that long ago. Like we would actively watch Eagles fans throw Redskins fans over the middle bowl of Lincoln Financial Field. Like I've seen it, man. I've seen a Dallas Cowboys fan get his ass kicked in the fucking concourse one time, for nothing, just existing after the Cowboys beat the Eagles, and he just caught the, you know, I don't know.
It's wrong time.
Unprompted too, man. That's Philly. The Philly area is not great for fandom. They are the best fans. They do care a lot, but they can also be the worst fans too. And it's kind of sad. James Bradbury's not getting a lot of heat for essentially costing Philly the game. I know me and Bert were talking off air about, you know, Kansas City probably had a possession in them, and who knows? And the Eagles scoring wasn't guaranteed, but it was a pivotal moment. But I think the officiating and the fact that the call happened when it happened, when, you know, Juju didn't have a chance of catching that pass. So if you want to go by letter of the law and say all that stuff, like, okay, sure, he should have thrown the flag, or that's a foul, but you haven't called defensive holding all game, and you're calling it now in this moment. And it's like, in the final minutes of a game, man, just let them play, bro. Like everything's hyped up, intensified. And the refs have to know they haven't called defensive holding all game. That just doesn't make sense. And it wasn't egregious. And it had no bearing on Juju wasn't going to catch that ball. Now, if it prevented him from catching, or the ball touched his fingertips, or it was close enough, but that ball sailed on him by 10 yards and he was never going to catch it. And they threw it just kind of, it's a shitty way to end the game, regardless of, and like I said, James Bradbury copped to it. Not probably the greatest thing. I wouldn't have copped to it, but you know, that James Bradbury is a better man than I am. But you know, he copped to it, and it is what it is. But it still doesn't change the fact that to me it was a shitty way to end the game. Dwayne Marcus, on a scale of 1 to Prince, give Rihanna's halftime show a rating.
On a scale of 1 to Prince.
Prince is the greatest of all time. We've already,
I had this conversation with at work with some people. We were talking about the Prince halftime show and how great it was. But I liked it. I mean, me personally, I like that's just I'm a really big Rihanna fan. I know there's a lot of people that like thought it was boring and like didn't like that she didn't bring one out, but like it's Rihanna, and like how often do we see Rihanna bring out other people for like just her regular concerts, let alone the damn halftime show at the Super Bowl? I thought it was cool. I think it's even cool that she did the whole thing while she was however many months pregnant that she is. So I mean, good for her. That's great. I know I wouldn't be willing to stand on platforms that are hanging hundreds of feet in the air by invisible wire. So she's a better human being than I am because I don't have the balls for that. But no, I thought it was cool. I think she I mean, I was upset that there were some songs that I thought should have got performed that weren't performed, like Ponder Replay, but whatever, you know. I'm not Rihanna, so I don't make those decisions. But I thought it was cool.
Bert?
I loved it. I'm going to be honest with you. And here's why. I think she's so good and she's done so many hits with other people. I didn't want to see that. I just wanted to, I mean, selfishly, I just wanted to see Rihanna. Cause my God, she looks good no matter what. And, but I mean, I was saying, I think I was saying this to my wife, meeting some of my buddies too. Like it was cool for us at home because in the Super Bowl, they've been doing this, the Super Bowl has been the halftime show has been certainly more of like production performance. And this day, I mean, even last year when we saw in LA with the phenomenal performance from like Eminem, 50 Cent, and like Dr. Dre, and like basically it was like a mini series all in one. Yeah. And then you go back, you know, more with like the Weekend and things like that. But I thought the camera angles and the visionary of it was awesome, especially how she finished it with diamonds too. You know, it was just it just looked really, really cool. And hats off to her, man. Like it was dope. And you know, I didn't want them to pull other people in there. And you know, when she was starting songs that involved Jay-Z, and we knew for a fact no one's pulling Kanye on stage right now, so that wasn't going to happen. But overall, man, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, she killed it. Now, I in the past made the mistake of putting my hands on a woman's stomach and saying congratulations, and them not being pregnant. So when everybody was kind of like, is she pregnant or not? I was like, man, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, she's pregnant.
Oh yeah.
But my wife and my sister-in-law and everybody that was over, it's like, no, she just had the baby. And I was like, let me tell you, if you're with, I know her and A$AP Rocky aren't married, but they're together, whatever. If you're with Rihanna and you have a baby, you're having sex as soon as you possibly human can. And when you have sex, chances are there's a chance you can get pregnant. Again, it happens. People have back-to-back babies all the time.
Oh yeah.
So when she like undid her, she was wearing loose baggy clothes with like a belt thing like around where a baby would be needed to be supported. So in my head, I was like, oh, she pregnant. But I was not going to say it out loud because I mean, going into labor, I still won't say it. Like just going into regular labor.
Everybody out there, a portion of Jerem's job is like safety and first aid. So someone could be going into labor, and Jerem would probably be signing like, "Hey, do you think you ate something bad? Like, you good? Maybe it's food poisoning."
Yeah. When's the last time you ate? What's the last thing you ate? Yeah. What time? What time was that? So, you know, when's the last time you had a bowel movement? So I said,
water breaks. Jerem's is like, sure it's not piss.
Are you sure? Yeah.
This lady's leaking cerebral fluid out of her vagina. It's weird. Must have a head injury. So she was pregnant, so I wasn't expecting a lot of like her performance then made sense, right? Like she wasn't going to be throwing ass. I read like a whole conspiracy, like the reason why she didn't have guests and things like that were that her performance was art, that she was the egg and the little white things were sperm, and that's why they were like all around her. And then once she was fertilized, she rose up in the platform, and like that was like the life, that was her life that she was making. And I said, man, that's fine, that'd be crazy. Then
little self-centered for a Super Bowl halftime show to make it about,
I'm pregnant.
you and your pregnancy. Yeah.
it's the only thing that makes sense. But then I thought about her first kid. This is the start of the sibling rivalry because the first kid was announced like on Instagram in front of the bodega in New York.
Yeah.
And I would be fucking pissed if I grew up and I realized my younger sibling was announced at the Super Bowl halftime show, and you have me in front of some dirty ass fucking bodega under the train track spot in New York City, some fucking deli. Like, the fuck out of here, bro. I would be pissed. I'd be fucking pissed if I was that fucking older sibling.
Dude, I mean, chances are they're gonna have that argument. I mean, they're both kids of $1 billion individuals. So I mean, what else are they gonna argue about? Not gonna argue about shit. They're gonna have all the things that they can imagine, and all the money in the world. So yeah, hell yeah, that's an argument coming up.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Before we move it along, just want everybody to know, thank you all for supporting our Instagram page. It's blowing up. Follow us on Instagram at Stuff About Sports, and follow at Give Us a Shot too, man. Everything's funneled through there. So if you want to check us out on there, you can do that. All right, goodbye NFL. We're done with you until next year when my Bills finally make it to the Super Bowl versus the let's see. I'll go the Eagles again. Bills, Eagles. Okay. So, no, I won't. Dwayne Marcus gave me some knowledge. They're going to lose everybody. Let's do Bills, NFC. I'll do Bills, Cowboys. I'll do it. Fuck it. I read the script, but now we're back with the XFL. Next week or this week coming up, like there ain't no breaks. Like we're jumping straight into it. We have new teams, technically 3 new teams, and one new team, and then 2. Let's see, 3 relocations. So the Tampa Bay Vipers are no longer existing. We have the Vegas Vipers. Makes a lot of sense to put a team in Vegas. That's just the new hot spot for sports. The Guardians left New York. They're in Orlando now. There's no more New York XFL teams. They have moved to Orlando. Which means that the original Orlando team is no longer there. St. Louis Battlehawks are back. Houston Roughnecks are back. DC Defenders are back. Seattle Dragons are back. The Renegades technically moved right next door to Arlington. They used to be in Dallas. And then the brand new expansion team, they're not expansion team, brand new team that is taking place of, who did San Antonio take in place of? Who's missing? Somebody's missing. But San Antonio Brahmas, obviously, placating to the Rock. That's the team that Hines Ward is coaching. So shout out to Hines Ward. Gentlemen, which one of these teams? Well, which team are you rooting for? What part of the XFL are you most excited about?
Oh, man, I'm excited that it's back and better than ever, so to speak. And with the Rock at the helm, I'll be excited to see what other changes that they make. I mean, look, we already knew that they were doing it right when it came down to like booth replays and like being able to challenge things that we all think they should be able to challenge and so on. Now, who am I going to root for now that there's no New York teams left? I honestly have no idea. If I could pick it solely on the logo, Guardians looks cool. Sea Dragon seems like an awesome team to root for too. So yeah, probably one of those, to be honest with you. I'm going to go Seattle. Cross country, why not? Let's do it. Colors are cool. Reminds me of the U. So I think they'll do good this year.
Dwayne?
I'm allergic to rooting for teams that are in DC. Like literally, like the only 2 teams I root for that are from DC that are professional sports teams are the Capitals and the Mystics. But the Mystics are my favorite WNBA team. The Las Vegas Aces are. So like I just, knowing what I know about having lived in DC all my life and how just much of a poverty city this is when it comes to sports, like I just refuse to root for the DC Defenders. Like I watched the Nationals win a championship a couple years ago. They've been hot garbage ever since. Like,
dude, the Nationals and the Capitals have brought your city a championship like within the past, I'll say, but it had to be the past 5 years.
And the Nats instantly just went straight rebuild mode right after that. Like, no, let's not try to win another one. Let's not try to be competitive more. Let's just blow it all up. Like I'm so done with the Washington Nationals. It's ridiculous. But I mean, like, I'm a Nats fan by default until I decide otherwise. I'm gonna root for the Brahmas just because the logo looks cool. I like the Rock. Yeah. I like paying how much the Rock. He's not the head of the table. He's not the tribal chief, but he's close enough. So,
Bert knows this, known me a long time. I believe you can only be a fan based off of two things: brainwash and geography. Because the XFL is brand new, I'm too old to be brainwashed by it, so I have to pick it based on geography, which means I have to root for the DC Defenders, which was the team I rooted for back in 2020 when it came, and it just made it better because Buffalo Bills legend Cardell Jones was the quarterback of the DC Defenders. So they got an upgrade in uniforms. They downgraded St. Louis Battlehawks uniforms. Not really hyped about that. They looked worse, but the Defenders are better. The LA team was the team that got nixed. So the LA team, there's no longer an LA team. It's the Brahmas. And then the Guardians moved from New York to Orlando. The Vipers moved from Tampa to Vegas. So, and then obviously
it's being scripted. Watch the San Antonio Brahmas win the XFL championship.
That would be nuts. That would be nuts. Yeah, the LA Wildcats was the original team. So yeah, it's weird. They just switched the colors up. It's like the Tampa Bay Vipers are now the Guardians colors. And then the Vipers have the old New York Guardians colors. It's strange how they just flipped them around. But go ahead and take a look at their uniforms. Uniforms are dope. XFL's back. Very excited about it. I have the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks for Arlington are Kyle Slotler. Vegas is getting Brett Hundley. So shout out to Brett Hundley. Who's that? Green Bay legend, Dwayne Marcus, Green Bay Packer.
He held his own.
DC Defenders have Jordan Tamu. I remember him. He's like that tatted up kid from Hawaii a couple years ago. He was dope. Brandon Silvers for Houston. Paxton Lynch, aka the Lazy Pirate, quarterbacking Orlando. San Antonio is going to have Jack Cohn. Seattle, Ben DiNucci, a name I haven't heard in a while, and St. Louis will have St. Louis is going to have AJ McCarron. So those are your starting quarterbacks for the XFL. And then Seattle, Josh Gordon trying to revive his career. Josh Gordon is with the Seattle Dragons. He last played with the Seattle Seahawks, so maybe he's sticking around.
He played one game with the Seahawks, right? And then got suspended again.
Yeah, and then came back and just got cut. Went to Kansas City and just didn't do much. You know, they got suspended again, and then that was about it for him. You know, revive his career. The weed is legal now, so maybe that'll help him. He's still, you know, I don't know. I feel like that window's kind of much over. But the XFL, this is what it does, though. It gives these guys opportunities to play. You know, it's professional football, but it's obviously not NFL, but it's a step above. To me, the USFL, it's a step above semi-pro. So it's the best you're going to get that's not NFL related. So shout out to him. Coming up this week, tonight's Wednesday. If you're listening to us live, we're here. Tomorrow, Thursday, which would be the 16th of February, Mike from The Divide is going to be filling in for Sean Brace on the Daily Ticket from 3 to 6 p.m. on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports The Gambler, 102.5 FM in Philly and 104.1 FM in Trenton. Then at 8 o'clock on Thursday night, JT and the Don will be live. And then Friday, the Divide Live will be, I put 8 o'clock, but I'm never really sure. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7, but they pre-record that show for the radio. Spoiler alert. So I'm going to have it cut up and the video is going to be live at 8, but you guys stay tuned. Just iHeartRadio app, check The Divide at The Divide Live on Instagram. And you will find out, you know, when they'll be there. And then you can always find all of us at the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube page. I think we're approaching 1,400 subscribers, so shout out to y'all. Bert.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about these MLB. So MLB's coming back. Let's do the rules changes first, and then we'll get into Jeter.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, look, pitchers and catchers reported. Football season NFL football season is officially over. So for those who are targeting more Major League sports, of course, the next thing to look forward to, aside from basketball and hockey playoffs, but the longest season of all the major sports leagues, which is baseball coming up. So, I mean, look, baseball had a huge off season all around. This off season, I think, was the most that teams paid for players, like an Aaron Judge, if you will. And yeah, so it's going to be, really cool coming up because they're doing things to enhance the games, things that Germ and I have spoken about for the past 2-3 years, I think, since we've been starting to do it. It's like, make baseball great again, and how can we do so? So they included a couple of things that I'm all for. Germ, I know, is certainly indifferent about one of them. So first thing being the pitch timer. This is really awesome. So there's going to be 30 seconds in between batters, but while once you step into the batter's box, the pitcher will have 15 seconds to decide on a pitch and throw it down the middle. If there are runners on any of the bases, they'll have 20 seconds. And then a violation of that, it's an automatic ball or strike. I think on the pitching side, it's an automatic ball. On the batter side, if they do anything to delay, it's an automatic strike is where you get it. Now,
also, if the batter is not in the box by the time it starts, that's an automatic out. And I forgot to put that on here. That's another one of those wrinkles that they're doing.
Another awesome thing I think they're doing from a pitching standpoint is they're limiting the number of pickoffs when a runner is at first. So the pitcher can actually they can only check first twice. And anything after that, they can't do, which I think will probably result in if they do it 3 times, they'll probably just advance the runner to second. This is going to be more exciting because it's going to mean more stolen bases or more pickoffs at second, depending on who your catcher is and if they have a rocket of an arm. So honestly, all of this is they're doing to speed up the game. They've been doing this in the minors. I think they've been testing it out for the past year or two, and it's been working. Germ and I covered this. I think they cut down the average time of a baseball game. I want to say it was close to either a half an hour or a full hour, which is absolutely huge for anybody that watches baseball in itself. Shift restrictions. So defense now has a minimum of they must have a minimum of 4 players on the infield dirt at all times, with at least 2 on either side of second. So before, depending on how you're playing the batter, you can put one of your infielders in the outfield to better defend. Not anymore. And infielders need to have both feet on the dirt at pitch release. Yeah. So, I mean, look, a lot of people, Joey Gallo being one of them, bitching about these shift bans coming up. But guess what? Here's an alternative to that. Do better. Plain and simple. Yeah, you have trouble pulling the ball a certain way. Practice. You make millions of dollars. I don't want to hear you, a grown man, complain about how this sport is getting hard for you. Boo-hoo. And then bigger bases too. This is a point of contention, and I think this is one that I'm kind of indifferent about. Is it exciting because it's just going to mean more action, more offense? Yes, absolutely. But one of the things I will say is, I don't want to make it too easy. Now, you have to go back and look at some of the data too. Will the extra 3 inches make a difference? Some say it does. Others say it's not necessarily the size, but how you get to it. Am I right? So the bases are bigger. Do they look significantly bigger as some of the pictures that have been shown on Twitter and online? No. But it will. I mean, from a fingertips point of view, it will make a difference for those sliding into second or even third at that. And lastly, what is here to stay? And Mikey, boss man Mike Powers, Joey Gallo can't even make contact. Yeah, that's absolutely right. He can't, which is why the Yanks got rid of him and the Dodgers got him. So extra innings begin with a runner on second base is now permanent. This is something that, Germ, my friend, I know you are not happy about. I love it. I absolutely love it. And here's why. I think it was determined that since this started in 2019 or 2020, I think, the number of longer inning games. So I think it was the average number of 13 inning games decreased from 37, which I think was in 2019, to only 7 or something wild like that. So it was 5 times the amount of basically decreased the amount of longer games that went into it. For me, that just means it's like a sudden death overtime. You just have to be perfect for those extra innings. And that's why I like it. And games won't carry on forever. But Germ, you don't like it.
Yeah, it's because what's the point of it? What are you trying to do? You're more action, or are you trying to save pitchers' arms? You eliminate the ghost runner and expand the rosters to 30, right? So you can carry a couple extra pitchers, and then do it that way. But to start a guy on second, if you want to start him on first, that's fine. But to start him on second, you know how many people can make it from second to home off a single? There's a lot of them that can do that. They've been doing it, and I think that it's just a shitty way to end a game. To me, it just. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do a ghost runner. Like I feel like a team you kind of luck into. You can get a lucky hit and just win a game. And to me, just either don't have them or start them on first. Make it a little challenging. But to start them on second is to me a little aggressive.
I like second because you don't have the force out, right?
Yeah.
So start them on second. You don't have the force. You still have the offense there. I get what you're saying. I don't know. For me, it's a win.
Yeah. Dwayne Marcus, you a big baseball guy?
I've become a bigger baseball guy.
Bigger
over the years. I am not a big baseball guy. I tell my friends all the time. I cannot. I've been to a handful of baseball games in my life. Like, been to the stadium. That is more enjoyable for me than sitting at home. And I think it's just because I have a terrible attention span. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a game that's like dragging and the final score is like 2-0, like that's tough for me to get behind. But I'm the same with soccer. Like I'm not going to sit and watch 22 grown men run up and down a pitch for 90 minutes and the final score is 0-0. I just can't do it. But I think soccer is great though. Like I enjoy watching soccer. But I'm becoming there's going to hopefully become a point in the next year or so when I start talking more about baseball on my show. I just have to watch the games. Most baseball games that I get to watch are like off the late night. And I just don't have the energy to like sit down at 9 o'clock and watch a game from 9 to 1 in the morning or however. Like I just don't.
Yeah, other than my Mets, I do find it hard. Like if I know there's a game between two really good teams and I should be watching it, I do find myself like doing other things. But this is who these rules are for, right? The average viewing age of baseball is like people in the 50s.
Yeah.
So, they want to get younger. Now these rule changes, even with the ghost runner, the dreaded stupid ass ghost runner that Bert loves so goddamn much. It's quicker. The games are going to be quicker. It's going to be fewer strikeouts. It's going to be more stolen bases. The bases increased from 15 inches to 18 inches. They look like pizza boxes out there. So, I mean, I think that was more of a safety thing than anything, but it will lead to more stolen bases. The bases are going to be bigger, technically closer together. If you want to, kind of look at it that way. But again, you're reducing injuries, you're reducing collisions. And then they have 8,000 plus games. This isn't just like a experimental thing that they've been doing for one season. They've been doing this for a lot of years. I remember they had like a 35-minute pitch clock, straight up shot clock in the minors at one point. And obviously the shorter games, which is what MLB was trying to get. I think Bert's right. I think the minor leagues were averaging on average about 45 minutes shorter than the majors with some of these changes, not all of them, but some of them. But I know the pitch clock and the shift bands were a big minor league thing. And then also the bigger bases was kind of something that was more recent for baseball. So, I can't wait, man. Spring training just started, so baseball's right around the corner. I can't wait to see what my Mets will do. I know Bert's super excited for his Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we'll probably attend a Subway Series game because that seems to be a tradition of ours every year. So I'm sure we'll narrow one of those down, and I'll be looking forward to seeing my Mets beat up on the Yankees.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, I can't shit on the Yankees too much because the Yankees are starting to win here. A-Rod and Jeter back again. Bert, how excited were you when A-Rod was standing on that stage, and Derek Jeter comes out the crowd like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like coming to return to help The Rock beat up Triple H?
Yeah, I loved it.
In 2000.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We've been dying for we as Yankee fans to see more and hear more Derek Jeter, and it's just his take on the game. Like, look, it's honestly been a pleasure to hear Alex Rodriguez break down games because I think he's got a beautiful baseball mind. Half of it just decided to do stupid shit while he was playing. But when it comes down to knowing the game, he knows it so well, to the point where, I've even had discussions with like Mike about, man, he should be behind a bench someday too, because I honestly think he could be a great manager. But to now have Derek there too and get his mindset, and we already know kind of who he is from, the Captain documentary, but I do want to see his take while he's calling some games and just going over and breaking it down. And the both of them together, honestly, It's a beautiful thing to see, and I am so excited to see it. And it also, I mean, you have Tom Brady, the GOAT, immediately retiring, going into broadcasting, making way more than any of his counterparts are in an analyst booth. And that, like, so the greatest individual in his sport, in his position, to his own right, coming back to sit in a booth. And now you have Derek Jeter, one of the greatest individuals of his sport and his position, coming back to do it in the booth too. I want to see more of this for sure.
Mike says Jeter is about to Greg Olson A-Rod. Nah, doubt it, buddy. That's so what Mike is talking about is Tom Brady apparently coming to Fox is going to make them pay Greg Olson less. I don't know where that started. I don't know where that came from. But that's funny to think about. It's a funny visual. If that's the case, Greg Olson will go get the bag somewhere else. Trust me, he's more than proved how great he is. Greg Olson might A-Rod Tony Romo. Tony Romo stopped fucking around out there worrying about golf instead of calling games.
So it's funny you mentioned this because annual salaries for top NFL analysts, Tom Brady, obviously at $37.5 million, Tony Romo and Troy Aikman, Tony Romo with CBS, Aikman with ESPN, $18 million apiece, Collinsworth somehow making $12 million. Greg Olson for Fox was making $10 million. Then of course, Herb Street on Amazon, $10 million. Now Greg Olson had a great season, but now he's getting a $7 million pay cut in itself. It says when Tom Brady joins Fox, and this is all via Axios. So when he joins the broadcast booth in 2024, Olson could see his salary go from $10 million to $3 million annually, as I think it's because Brady joining Fox too. So I mean that they haven't really dived into what would make it go that much, but it's just saying it could see his salary go that low, depending.
Sorry for not promoting Dwayne Marcus properly, buddy. Follow at Dwayne Marcus at GTP Marcus on Instagram. That's my guy. Go talk with Marcus on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. You said what?
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I wake up at 3:00 in the morning to take my nightly piss, and I've got 15 likes and Give Us a Shot Network on TikTok. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I wake up at 3 a.m. for my weekly jerk off session with Tiffany Towers, and then after I'm done, I go on TikTok and show love to my guys. We were talking about Derek Jeter. I don't know if he's engaging enough. I don't know if he's engaging enough to be in the commentary booth or analyst booth. Derek Jeter doesn't strike me as a guy. He's not charismatic like A-Rod. He's been super secretive all his life. He's not. He hasn't really. And I have this fear, the same fear with Tom Brady. They just never said anything interesting. So to see them, like, you have to have a certain charisma. You have to have a certain character or a certain persona to do these shows, like these pregame shows, postgame shows, analytic shows. Like, that's why Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp are so damn good at it. It's not because they analyze the game good; their personalities. So, and then you have your host, right? You have your Ernie Johnsons, you have your Kurt Menefees, you have these their James Brownses. That's their job to do. So where does Derek Jeter fall into that? I don't know. Like, you have Big Papi up there, you're gonna have A-Rod up there. They check those boxes, but what is Jeter going to do? So I'm going to be interested to see. I know a lot of people are going to be hype over Jeter and A-Rod being reunited, and then you're going to have the Red Sox Big Papi out there, fake Hall of Famer David Ortiz, and the token Hall of Famer. Don't even get me started on that. He's not a Hall of Famer, but it'll be interesting to see how well he does up there in the commentary booth.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bert. They're shooting down balloons. I have a conspiracy theory that nobody sent those balloons. I think America was spying on its own people, and they didn't think people would notice. And then all of a sudden, one floated down too far, and they were like, "Oh shit, China!" And then shot it down like a week later. And then they couldn't just have one, so they sent like 3 more up there. And Canada shot one down. So it's like, all right, China sent all these balloons and nobody noticed. Like, that doesn't make any sense. We found out that North Korea was making hydrogen bombs underneath their own country. You mean to tell me a fucking balloon, hot air balloon, floated from China over here and nobody noticed? No, we did that. Like, it's not China's, it's us. And they were doing some 5G shit, spying on us, and people noticed. So they had to, do something. But the alien theory is something that I'm really interested in. And so, Bert, if the aliens were coming for us, give me the 5 people in sports that you would send after them aliens.
Oh, this is super easy for me. So I have 5. You got to think of like who's the most craziest, but also somewhat intimidating. So I'll give you number 4, and we'll work our way, or number 5, we'll work our way through up. Number 5 is John Daly, golf partying legend, just crazy enough. If you saw John Daly in a Walmart parking lot, you would think, oh, there's just a normal patron going to Walmart, let alone this amazing golfer who is basically drunk and high his entire career. So just purely off of his calm, cool collectiveness to get shit done, I'm sending John Daly in number 5. Number 4 is going to be Shaun White, the kid himself. I mean, absolute crazy snowboarding and skateboarding legend, but just this cool goofball man. He just seems like he'd party with the aliens too and just make them our friends. Number 3, Dennis Rodman. Dude looks like an alien himself. Yeah. And I'm sure everybody thought, who are you going to send to see aliens? And Dennis Rodman popped into everybody's mind. Trust me, I know it did. Yeah. So he's coming in at number 3. This is where we get serious. This is where we're like, all right, hey, listen, we're America. Like, no aliens are going to sit here and come down and invade our country. Like, this is not happening. Bill Romanowski. Yeah. The man is a psychopath. And if you don't know who that is, look him up. He is easily one of the most intimidating professional football players of all time. And good player too, for what it's worth. And finally, number 1, Mike Tyson. I'm sending Mike Tyson in there. He's got a gentle side. He's got a stern side. And then he's got a side where he's just going to whoop your ass no matter what. Yeah. So if we're going to send one person in there at the top of my list, it's going to be Mike. He's going to find out what's going on. And if he doesn't like it, he's going to handle business. Or he's going to make a peace treaty one way or another. Yeah,
100%. That's awesome. That's a great list. I didn't even have Mike Tyson on my list. That's wild.
Oh,
Dwayne, do you have a list?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
So my 5 is Aaron Donald. I mean, it's a grown man that works out with knives, dude. He's not taking anything from anybody, especially not no aliens. Number 4 is Mike Tyson, which probably is low. But I have Mike Tyson at 4. Francis Ngannou. I'm scared of Francis Ngannou. I think he 2-piece alien in a heartbeat. And so that's a big dude, real big dude. Number 2 for me is DK Metcalf. He's just big. Yeah. Like, he's just big for no reason, big. Yeah. And number 1, I'm a wrestling fan, which, I mean, you guys know this. I'm on the show a bunch. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar can kick some serious alien ass. 100%. Oh, yeah. As Pat McAfee says all the time, he's the alpha male of our species. And 100%, if the aliens come to Earth tomorrow, I'm calling Brock Lesnar to go kick some ass.
Dwayne Marcus, 100 Brock Lesnars or 10 silverback gorillas?
Ooh.
100 Brock Lesnars all day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay.
100 Brock Lesnar.
So,
pain, bro. 100 Brock Lesnar.
I put a lot of thought into this list, and let me tell you, I went to the big board. I had to cross out some names. I did some pre-draft interviews, and I finally narrowed down to 5. Perfect 5. Number 5, Brock Lesnar. Obviously, for obvious reasons, Dwayne Marcus. But for the same reasons he picked Aaron Donald, I'm going with Myles Garrett. He ripped off somebody's helmet and then tried to hit his bare head with it. I mean,
yes.
DK Metcalf ain't never do no ill shit like that. So neither is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald got stiff armed by Josh Allen as well. So that kind of lost points right there. Number 3, I kind of cheated, but if I'm sending aliens for the same reason Bird is sending Dennis Rodman, I am sending Brooke and Robin Lopez. They just look like something that aliens would communicate with and be cool with. And they look like aliens. And more so Robin than Brooke, but I'm sending the Lopez brothers for sure. Number 2, coked up John Jones. Only coked up. He's the greatest fighter that ever lived. Hand-to-hand combat. Mike Tyson may be the most powerful boxer. And Brock Lesnar may be the most intimidating, but John Jones is the greatest fighter this country and this world has ever seen. And imagine if they allowed him to fight coked up. That's somebody I would not want to trifle with. And number one, so I have power. I have Brock and Myles Garrett. I have crazy. I've coked up John Jones, who also has experience. And then I have Brooke and Robin Lopez for the peacekeeping, but they look like they're kind of scrappy dudes. I wouldn't fight them in an alley. But now what's missing is leadership, experience. And who better to send than somebody who has led their team to victory? And if I'm going to get the aliens, I need somebody that's also killed aliens. And what's better than experience? Somebody who's done it before. And that's O.J. Simpson.
Shit.
We need leadership. And I'm sending OJ up there because OJ can charm you and also slice your throat, allegedly. And so I will definitely, I'm feeling pretty good about my top 5. We need leadership. We need experience. And OJ checks all those boxes. I mean, he's the juice. I mean, got to send
He'd
the
then
juice
write a
out
book
there.
about it and say, if I would have done it. You know?
If I would have done it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely sending the juice out there. Mike says I'm sending Kyrie and Flat Earth debate. If you send Kyrie and Kanye West to the aliens, they may never come back. And they might just take them with them and be like, hey man, let's get out of here. Earth sucks.
Yeah.
We got something way better. And send us out there. Yeah, I'd send Kyrie out there so we don't have to listen to him anymore. That'd be a great thing. Bert, do you have a game ball to give out?
No, I don't. Surprisingly, I didn't give this one much thought. So I'll just honestly, I'll go with listen, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got to do what you got to do, and mostly because the second they won, I knew for a fact that I'm like, here I go. Let me eat my words from the past 2 or 3 weeks. I think I've been sounding off about like bitching and complaining, like, why is everybody calling them a dynasty? This is bullshit. Now I have to admit it. This is the start of a dynasty. They did their thing. So congrats to the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. They get the game ball.
Dwayne Marcus, you got a game ball you want to give out?
Yeah. I'm a fan of the South Carolina Gamecocks, the women's basketball team, head coached by Dawn Staley. The other day, we beat LSU. We're the only unbeaten women's college basketball team in the country. And that has a lot to do with Dawn Staley, has a lot to do with Leah Boston, but also, like, that's just a great basketball team. And we're going back to back, and I just can't wait. So, game ball goes to the Gamecocks down there in South Carolina.
Nice. Me and Bert also old enough to remember when they were just called the Cocks. And they had a bunch of merchandise, and they had to pull them from all the stores. It was a huge controversy. It was crazy. I never forget that. And people, once they was announced that they were going to stop doing it, people rushed to Lids and rushed to all the places you get, and all the Cox stuff went away. And they used to, seriously, they used to sell hats that just said Cox on it. It was great. Yeah. I'm sure you could find it on some of the aftermarket stuff, but you used to get it officially, and it was who? That's awesome. Like, why not do that? My game ball is going to Joel Embiid tonight. They're playing the Cavs right now as we're recording this. Now has hit 10,000 points, fastest Sixer to ever hit that mark. Future Hall of Fame career that he's building down up, here in Philadelphia. So hopefully he can cap that off with a championship. But it's an amazing accomplishment when you can pass Allen Iverson in something. So for that reason, I will give Joel Embiid my game ball. Dwayne Marcus, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully we didn't waste too much of your time, but we always appreciate you hanging out with us. Everybody take care of each other. Check us out at Give Us a Shot Network, at Give Us a Shot Network on TikTok. We're on the TikTok now with all the other young kids. Whoa, that sounded weird. Sorry, that was bad. With the young kids. www.giveusashot.network. Website's updated. You can catch all the live feeds and all the past recordings of all of our shows on there now. Shout out to Ty for doing that for us. And Rihanna. It's a damn shame you're pregnant, girl. Should have been me.